In Parsha Shlach, the Torah enumerates the 12 Nesiim, the 12 tribal leaders that ultimately went to spy out Eretz Yisrael. Tribal leaders, the Gedolei Hador, great Talmidei Chachamim, and Chazal tells us that the Torah lists the Nesiim in order of greatness. The fifth person to be mentioned was none other than Yehoshua ben Nun, the ultimate successor of Moshe Rabbeinu. The obvious question that one has to ask is, if there were four people that were greater, why weren't they the successors of Moshe Rabbeinu? What was unique, special about Yehoshua ben Nun that ultimately he was chosen to be the successor of the greatest Jew, Moshe Rabbeinu? And we can find the answer in this week's Parsha. The Torah tells us, "Umisharso Yehoshua ben Nun na'ar lo yamish bitocha ohel," that the Mishares of Moshe Rabbeinu, Yehoshua ben Nun, never left, never departed from the Ohel, referring to the Ohel Shel Torah. Chazal tells us, Ro'a HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Yehoshua, HaKadosh Baruch Hu saw Shedivrei Torah Chavivim Allah B'yoser, that he valued the Torah was precious to him. And therefore, Amar Lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Yehoshua, because the Torah was so precious, Lo Yomush Sefer HaTorah Hazeh Mipicha, that the Torah will never depart from you. I, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, will guarantee that you will never forget the Torah. And Chazal tells us, Lamanu, we learn from here, that mi shechavivim lo divrei Torah, that whoever values the Torah is precious. Zoche lios zecharon ve'eno shocheach klum. He'll remember the Torah and he will never forget the Torah. Mikol ma shalomi, from that which he learns. Harei lanu segula nifla. It's a tremendous segula. Lebal yishkach mimenu Torah, for one never forget the Torah. If the Torah is precious, if a person values the Torah, if he's willing to sacrifice himself for the Torah, if he's willing to be diligent to ensure that he knows the Torah, and he's careful about the Torah, and he's moser nefesh, and he does whatever it takes to learn Torah, even if it is under duress, HaKadosh Baruch Hu guarantees that that's the person that the Torah will never forsake. He'll never forget the Torah. He'll forever have a connection with the Heilig of the Holy Torah. And I think that this message is very pertinent to us today, us Jews here in Bergen County, Bichlal, and Bifrat, specifically here in our community in Arzei Darom. The Torah gives a haftacha that if you don't forsake it, it won't forsake you. And perhaps we can learn that if we don't forsake the shul will not forsake us. If we truly value the shul, if we would make the shul our second home, if under any and every circumstance we would do whatever it takes to tam to minyanim, and while we're in shul, we treat the shul with proper respect and kavod. We come not as a social gathering, but as a place, as a makom where HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shechina resides. If we don't forsake the shul, and we value the shul, and we appreciate the shul, then ultimately the shul will never forsake us. But the shul has forsaken us, and now the shul is closed. And maybe it's time to look inward and figure out, what are we not doing to be able to be zochet to have the shul? What are we not accepting upon ourselves? What don't we appreciate about the shul that we weren't given that haftacha, that guarantee that the shul will not forsake us? Now more than ever, we have to recalibrate and reprioritize and make the shul our focus. Ensure that we appreciate the shul, that we come to shul, and we come to shul on time. And when we come to shul on time, we don't sit in shul to talk, but rather we should utilize the shul as a migdash ma'at, a place where we talk to Hashem and Hashem only. Let us come every day to shul, and let us embrace the shul, so that the shul will embrace us. Let us be mechazek ourselves. Let us strengthen ourselves. Let us prioritize or reprioritize. And let us focus on what is truly important and meaningful and how much we need the shul in our lives. Have a wonderful Shabbos and the Mirza Hashem. Just as HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave a haftacha, a guarantee to Yoshua that because he loved the Torah would never forsake him. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should bless us that if we love the shul, then the shul will never forsake us. Have a good Shabbos.